It's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. You're welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive?
I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Good morning. Welcome back to the channel, Grand Colombia. Welcome to Coffee Time Live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Colombian time. And it's another spectacular day. Now, I realize it's not fair to tell you all the time about the spectacular day, but remember, I tell you when it's overcast or raining. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So I tell you every week, oh, what a beautiful day it is here in sunny Armenia, Colombia. And it's not very fair, is it, that you don't get to see it because I'm in a studio. So I'm taking this clip so you can see what I see. The people here visiting are staying in that kind of a yellow, orange, gray and white building right there. And that building had 4 floors last year before COVID, and it's just glorious. It's been running right around 78, 79 degrees. If you're out in the direct sun, you might get to about 82. But with all the tree-lined roads and things, there's not a lot of direct sun. It's just been gorgeous. I love when it rains, but I'm glad that when the rainy season's over. So we're back to, and I'll see if I can get them to come in and interview. I'll talk about that in a minute. But we're back to raining later in the afternoon or in the evening, which is perfect for me. I just love it here. Today is actually a very typical day. Okay. Oh yeah. This is a silly little question, but it comes up all the time. So I decided I'd answer it today. And I've been asked to show the shot of where I sit and take those shots in the morning of me drinking coffee. And that's it. That chair right there, out on the balcony with another chair. And that's actually, if somebody comes, I like to sit out there and talk out there. I really dislike the living room, but there it is. Okay, so you can stop asking me now. All right. So today, I think I got a pretty good show. I'm going to go over a few updates. One is in particular importance to me and to the channel, and it's almost an announcement to me. I'll cover a couple news items. I will talk about what's going on with COVID. Everybody wants to know. And then we'll get to the Q&A. Please hold your questions till Q&A time. It's kind of disruptive for other people watching when I have to stop, because when I see it pop up, I want to answer it. But but then it gets kind of disjointed, and where was I and like that. So please just hold them till the Q&A, and then we'll just stay to your answers or your questions are answered. Now, first, the all-important thing was, can you watch football there? Well, I can't unless it's the Buffalo Bills. And some of you know I've been a Buffalo Bills fan forever. Joe Ferguson and Joe Cribbs. If those names mean anything to you, that's how long. And I didn't even get into watching football until I was probably about 28 years old. I had played football, but I hadn't watched it on TV. So Bills won yet again. They're going to the AFC Championship. Pretty wonderful. And yes, I can watch it on Kodi. I put in a little code. It's free, comes up crystal clear. Very awesome. No buffering. All right. So some information. Natalie, now she premiered her first 5 minutes with Natalie. And it was very funny because I got a number of comments about, shouldn't you call it 3 minutes? Yeah, we talked about that. But the first one was just an introduction. And then she's going to be doing some topics. I'm trying to convince her to do one on a date that she went on recently from a dating app. And I don't know, it turned out, well, it shouldn't be embarrassing for her. It should be embarrassing for the guy. But I thought it was hilarious, and I got kicked a few times for laughing. But I'll see if I can talk her into that. I do have to tell you this. She came over. There's a couple people here, which I will mention, visiting or perhaps staying. And I had told them that if they need their laundry done, because you don't see laundromats on every street corner, they're actually hard to find. I said, if you need your laundry done, I'll tell Natalie and her mom will do it. 25,000 pesos, fold up like the day you bought it, and it's awesome. So somebody dropped their laundry. So I told him, well, Natalie came over, a couple kids in the family, her mom. You know, it was an event, apparently. I just wasn't informed. So, I mean, that's how they're just so social. So they came over, and I'm in here. I'm working in my studio. I'm trying to finish up a project, which I will tell you about. It's finally finished. It's like, it's finally finished. I can't express to you how awesome it is. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Stay on target here. So I'm in here and I hear, I don't know, clunk, bang, something. So I get up and I walk over there to the door and I peek around the corner. And her mom is up on a chair and she's got all the cupboard doors open and everything out of them on the counter. Dishes, food, everything. And I walk over there, what the heck is going on? You know, you were here to iron some laundry and have it ready. And it's, her mom decided that I shouldn't be living in a pigsty. And it's not a pigsty, but I keep it clean, but not to her standards. So she found all the detergents and Clorox and scrubbers and mops. And she took this place apart. Every shelf, every item on the shelf, dusted. And then she got Natalie involved. She goes into my walk-in closet. Now, these black T-shirts, I've got, I don't even know how many, 30 or 40 black T-shirts. I've got 4 that are coffee time that I only wear for the show. Well, one time I wore it out, but I only wear it for, these are awesome, by the way. The material. Anyway, so yeah, I could do a merch plug right now. Go to Grand Columbia Live. All right. So she goes into my walk-in closet. She takes all my T-shirts. Now, I had these categorized by shirts I don't really wear any. They're all the same, but, you know, some were bought at this time, and then some were bought here, and some were. So yeah. So I had them, shirts I don't really wear anymore. Okay, here are shirts that I just wear around the house or to bed. Now, why? Because somebody came over to help me one day and decided to put bleach on black T-shirts. And so the 4 or 5 that were in there at the time, you know, they got, well, they're not quite tie-dyed. So I had those. So I had these 5 categories in all. Well, she mixed them all up, folded them all up the same, and stacked them and put them in stacks. My pants, same thing, all these black pants, and, you know, it's like, move my guitar, move some, all kinds of things. And so it's been driving me crazy because even the toilet paper roll, she put folds like a triangle, like in a hotel. And no, they never cleaned hotels, but I don't know. It was crazy. It was nice because there was a level cleaning that I would never do. but I don't expect to see it for another year. And it was just kind of bizarre. Good morning from Pineda. We got to meet up one of these days. Good morning, Javier from Switzerland. Welcome back. You become a weekly regular. Okay. Yeah, the Kalima Mall. I live right attached to the back of it. Okay. Yeah, it's prime property, and that building is just down the street. Okay, so where was I? Oh, my project. I guess I razzed Natalie enough. And I hope you understand, you guys, some of you guys, every time I have some chick on the channel, see, alliteration there, you guys think it's like a date. Now, I'm not saying I haven't had dates. I don't put them on the channel. These are friends, and most of my friends are female. Natalie goes out on a date, and, I'm in support of that. No, we're not dating. So please try to get a hello from Medellin. I'm going to talk a little bit about, near Medellin today. Okay, so my project. I have been working to create an actual studio environment for 5 years. There's a lot to this. And everything has been band-aided and make-do and jury-rigged. And we get failures from time to time. Most of it's actually YouTube. But, which, by the way, today I'm streaming live on DLive. Hopefully, maybe. If it's working. But I've had a list of priorities to get this together for a long time. And my computer blew up. It set me back. And I've been frustrated because until I get it done, there's a lot of things I can't do. And, certain states of disassembly. But I'm finally there. There actually is one item that I will need soon. But it's not going to hold anything up like this other stuff. So I needed a video card for the desktop a year and a half ago. And George, if you're watching, I heard you, I got it. But, it takes money. And I kind of live on the edge. It's a limited income, and I'm not crying the blues. I'm very happy. I'm living in paradise. You saw it. But I don't really have extra money to throw around. So, occasionally if I do, I'll save it, and then I try to get something. So about a year and a half ago, I bought this video card, and George is telling me that's not going to cut it. Well, the other one wouldn't function at all. So I had to have something. And so I bought this, and it's, what was it, NVIDIA 670 or something. It's 10-year-old, 12-year-old technology. And it sucked, but at least I could use the system and I could afford it, because this was only $30 or $40. And I say only, it took me a while to save for it, but I got that. Well, I've been working on the actual minimum card that I can use. Now, any of you that know about computers, don't laugh at me. It's like I do the best I can. And I couldn't afford this card for a long time, but I've been keeping my eye out, and I found one that was less than half price, brand new. And so the photo I'm going to show you on the box is pretty much live size. I can't show you the card. It's in the system. Okay, that's the card. It barely fit in the tower. And this is the other card next to it. Those are 6 or 7 inch fans, and there's 2 of them. This has like an 1.5 inch fan. It's got that because it takes a tremendous amount of power. And questions when we get to Q&A, please. I'm trying not to look. And so I put it in, and the power supply that was given to me is awesome. Now, if you know anything about computers, most power supplies are 300 to 500 watts. I was given one that was 780. Well, to run that card, you need a minimum of 450. Okay, I'm set. except I had an older power supply and I didn't have the newer cables. I had the Molex Power, if you know, and I needed the PCI pin cables. So I had to send to the US to get an adapter. Now that I could have bought here, but it was going to take like a month to get it. And the one from the US, there was actually a special where there was no tax or shipping. And so I got that. And it took about 5 or 6 days, maybe a week. And I got that. But the card has the DisplayPort connections, which is a newer connection. And the monitors are HDMI. I'm probably getting in the weeds for some of you, but I'll get through this quickly. So I needed adapters for that. So I sent to Bogota. I got those. It all came yesterday morning, and I was able to assemble it. Everything's working great. I was able to put the cover back on it, reconnect things that were I couldn't utilize. The system is now working in its entirety. It's freaking awesome. My editing program now works. I don't have to click, wait. Okay, now I can input again. I can actually sit there and click. It's amazing. Maybe I'll actually learn to like editing. When I tested it, it was crazy. I was so happy with it. So there's that. Back to Colombia. Sorry about that. Okay, this week, this past week, a couple of visitors came. First one came. I met him at the airport. He stayed in my house for the one day, you know, the thing I've got set up for a day, pick you up at the airport, and, you know, we spend a day. We actually spent probably closer to 2 days going over all the details about moving here. He was considering moving here. And hopefully I gave him some tips that'll save him some money. So I met him up at the airport. That's the airport in Armenia. It's not too far. It's about 28,000 for the taxi. Somebody can do the math on that. I used to be able to calculate, but it's like I don't have much need to know pesos to the dollar anymore. So it's all peso think now. Go ahead and put it up in the comments. So I'm there. Natalie went with me because she's going to be operating as a guide to some local attractions. Now, I did hook them up with, he's into birds. He's got cameras and, you know, he's one of these bird guys with the book. And if you're watching, you know, it's like, it just makes me laugh. But, you know, what I'm doing with the videos makes some people laugh. You know, we got to have our thing. And so I hooked him up with a professional, a National Geographic dude that knows every inch of the country. And you guys saw him in an interview. His name is Nick. And if you put in the YouTube search on my channel, there's a search, put in birding. It's called Penelope Birding. He doesn't just do that. He does, he's got a nice new SUV. He'll go to coffee farms and some very particular things that are off the beaten track. And then Natalie will take people to things, show them how to use the bus, go to Salento, Finlandia, the coffee park, Panica, you know, things like that. Tamales, the hot springs. Definitely recommend that. And I forgot to even tell, but they're probably watching this. So we did that, and then Coleman, who's on this channel all the time, and I saw his name earlier, so I'm sure he's watching. He also came, but he came from Medellin. He was there for about 3 weeks, and they were getting ready to do that that total lockdown, like you couldn't leave your building for a 4 or 5 day weekend. It was the end of the long holiday, and so he decided to come to Armenia because we don't have a lockdown. And now he's considering, you know, this might be his future home. If he can find what it is he's looking for, and I'm telling him to have patience. This isn't Medellin, and it's all here. It's just a little more respectable and wholesome here. Let me put it that way. So anyway, it's been fun meeting up with those guys. They've stopped over, and you know, we've had some conversation sessions. We went and had some lunches, and you know, it's been pretty cool. You know, I've expressed the microclimate, and you know, until you're here and you're seeing it, you know, it's hard to really quite understand, you know, like the breezes here in this building, how they can be different than a place 100 yards down the road. Let me show you a little thing that I captured. James was here at the time. And what we're doing on this, you're viewing the blue sky over us, and then off in the distance in the south part of town where it usually happens, you've got this little thunderstorm cloudburst going on. So let me show you that.
Yeah. And you got a lightning. Pretty cool.
It's a real thing here, you know. So when you look on the internet and you're looking at rainfall and you say, well, you got more rain than Seattle, so it's got to be overcast and rainy all the time. Not if you're getting almost all of it at night. You know, it's or the temperature or all these things that it cracks me up. You know, I've been living here for quite a while, and it's the Andes, and I lived in the Andes and Cuenca for quite a while. All told, between there and here in 20 years ago, you know, it's like we're over 7 years now. You know, I kind of know what the weather's like here, but I have people that will actually send me messages who have only visited here for a week or something, or maybe never been here, and they'll correct me because they read on the internet. So, well, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's what I'm telling you. And the rain is awesome. That's why it's always green. That was one thing in Ecuador. It was a little weird because you got rain about 6 months of the year where it just never let up. 1 year, it literally rained every day for 6 months. And then you got the other 6 months of the year where you get no rain. You got forest fires up in the mountains. They get close to the cities. You've got everything turns brown. Here, it's green all year long. Okay, let's see. Microclimate video. I showed you that. Oh, I've got a couple more visitors. There's another one coming in about 3 days. We're just going to have lunch and say hi. And then February 2nd, man and a woman may be watching. Try to stay away from names as much as possible, but they're coming February 2nd. I will meet them at the Pereira Airport. They won't be staying here, but they told me they wanted to hire me for 3 days. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know if they're going to need 3, but I will meet them at the Pereira Airport and spend whatever time that they need. They're going to be staying at the Mokawa. Woo! Nice hotel. Nicest in Armenia. And they're planning on spending about a month here. So that'll be pretty interesting. They're going to need Natalie for a guide. They're also going to want the birding guy. They're going to be doing some rafting and bird watching and those kinds of things, hiking, zip line. I think they said something about a zip line. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, last thing is I got a question sent to me. Now, understand that the YouTube membership, I mentioned a while ago, I kind of want to get away from that. And please go to grandcolumbia.live and click on the contributions tab, and everything will be there, including membership levels and like that. And but the question I got was somebody signed up for the basic level, and it was $1.99 on the YouTube thing, and then wanted to know why he couldn't access the dating video. And actually, if you looked at it, that was for the second level and up. And so that's why it didn't kick in automatically. But if you do, anybody signs up on membership levels, which I think I might want to just get away from. I don't know. I'd be interested in your thoughts. But if you do, I appreciate the support, but maybe more traditional. Anyway, because he didn't choose, I don't think he read it. That's why I didn't have access to it. And that's a video that I'm going to be redoing. The content is perfect, vetted by a whole bunch of people here in Colombia. But it's a little, now I've got things working good. Maybe I could make it a little bit better. So that's it. Let's get to, it's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Okay, you know what? I jumped the gun a little bit. Let me show, I forgot to show you those news items, and it'll answer a question that I saw pop up there. Let me put it on the screen. Okay, here in Armenia, we have a night curfew until March 1st. Now, what does that mean? It means no comment section. Not sure what you're talking about. Should be commenting. You're commenting. You just commented. Okay, night curfew here in Armenia means from 10 o'clock till 5 a.m. Kali, I've got a friend that was living in Ecuador. She's Colombian, hated every minute of it. And after 4 years there, I think, maybe 5, she moved back to Colombia last month, and she moved to Cali. We kind of lost connection, her phone information, whatever. She found me on the channel. She remembered the channel, sent me a message. And so she's in Cali. She wanted to come here to visit. So she was going to jump in a bus and come here, and she was going to show up this last Friday and stay for maybe 3 or 4 days. And so she sends me a message the morning of Friday that she's going to get on the bus about 6 a.m. And she said that Cali shut down with pretty much no notice or very little notice from 7 a.m. that morning until this coming Tuesday at 5 or 6 a.m. Shut down as in lockdown, as in you stay in your apartment. And if you go to the store, you have to show that it's a direct route, and you can only go every other day based on the last number of your ID, kind of like the way it was a year ago, March. They've got, yesterday they had a high of 21,000 new cases in one day. And so some of these places like Bogota, Medellin, and Cali, the larger places where they're having a lot of problems, they're actually going back to quarantining. I don't think they realize that the quarantine doesn't help. It's actually been proven. The World Health Organization, even as weird as they've been, they came out and said that you get higher cases when you have quarantine because the vitamin D getting out, walking around is actually good for you. And the quarantine people should only be the people like 90 years old with diabetes or something. Okay, so that's that. And you mentioned in Medellin, it seems like last minute. Yeah, these things are last minute because, they're arguing. There's conflicting voices in the government, and it's just been arguing back and forth. You have a certain number of people that say, let's just live our life. We'll deal with what comes, like a number of countries have done, been very successful. And you have others that say, oh my God, let's lock everybody down and let's take away all their freedoms and maybe we can get around this. So, it's kind of happening here. So you're getting last minute. Fortunately, so far, it's not a national thing. Every area is getting to decide on their own. And here in Armenia, it's you know, pretty cool. All right, so we got that. I know I promised to get to the questions. This one, this happened in Chinchina, which is near Manizales. And there was a street guy living on the street, had some alcohol, which is why he's living on the street. And he demanded from a passerby, another Colombian, he demanded 10,000 pesos. So what's that? About $3, $2 and something. Demanded it. And the guy told him to go pack it in his whatever, you know, he's no. And so he took the alcohol, threw it on him, and lit him on fire. Now, this photo is actually a police exercise. I don't know if you can see, but he's wearing a fire suit and a helmet. That's actually not a photo of what happened. Now, the guy did get burned. The fire department came and took him to the hospital, and he had 1st and 2nd degree burns on a couple areas of his body. Not anywhere near as drastic as the sensational photograph. But, the guy is no longer living on the street. He's in jail. Might have been his plan all along. Okay. First time I've ever seen it happen. So if you're panicked, don't panic. Crazy stuff happens everywhere. Usually not here so much. That's why it's making a big news story. And this last one, I don't need to go into detail, but there's some new rules for motorcycle helmets. So if you're planning on getting a moto, or if you already have one, pay attention to the rules. It's not really a big deal. It's mostly have a functioning helmet this time and don't do like you've been doing. But it's in the news if you want to take a look at it. Okay, now so we can get back to the Q&As. And let me, I'm going to look away here for a minute. Just notice the line by his lips. Yeah, that's the camera. And that's the other thing. This camera has a scratch in it. And I think it happened with all the stuff that I was doing. And I can maybe repair it, polish it, but I need to replace it. And this camera is just a webcam that I use for the live. It's a Logitech 920. It's the cream of the crop for webcams, basically within a reasonable price range. And I'll get one. So the line you're seeing, like right around here, can't help it. It's just the way it is. It's not a hair. It's actually a scratch. What else? Let me go back. Whoa, there's a lot of comments here. Okay, announce closings. I did that. Some talking amongst yourselves. Even the airport is beautiful. Yeah, it's a nice airport. Nice little airport. The zoo in Pereira is nice. Yeah, that's true. Little out of town, but very nice. I went there years ago. It's very, very different. Rain at night is excellent. Business picking up. Yes. Don't understand the no comment section. Is Armani Airport open? Yes, everything is pretty much open, except they're not permitting dancing. So if it's a salsa club, for example, there's no salsa dancing. Now, Coleman told me that I guess dancing in a strip club is different. But here, things aren't always necessarily hard and fast. Where are we? Envigado didn't shut down. Is it difficult to buy land? Small vineyard to grow grapes for wine. If you have money, you can buy land, but I would check out, what grows here. Any good barber shops? Are you commenting on my terrible haircut? There's quite a few good barber shops. I cut my hair myself the other day. I just got tired of waiting, and it's fine here where I could see, but in the back, there's a couple extraneous long pieces But, you know, it's kind of like my t-shirts. I don't really care. But there's good barber shops. It'll cost you the equivalent of about $4 or $5. All right, I think I got through those. So now if you have any actual questions, in the meantime, I do want to show you something. Robert, many of you remember Robert. He's been on the channel. He's visited here a number of times. He flew to Medellin, but he had planned to not stay there, and he went to Guatapé. And he's there with a couple good friends of his that came down with him. So let me show you two quick little clips that he sent. And I can't get him to hold this camera upright, although in one clip he did. So I'm going to show you two short clips.
This is where you start, and that's where we're headed. All the way to the top.
Okay, get your questions down. I'm into the questions. I'll show you one more clip.
All right, so we made it to the top. Beautiful, 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 incredible view up here. Wow. Absolutely beautiful.
How beautiful is that? But that hike, oh my God, that hike. No, but you know, he did it like a champ. That's north of here. It's near Medellin. Anything else? Well, this is a comment, Coleman. Sabaneta and Vigado, which are suburbs of Medellin, are actually almost part of Medellin now. It's kind of just sprawled. Did not lock down. That's pretty awesome. At Coleman, strip club expert. Well, you know, last night maybe. What do we have here? As usual, I got a little delay here. Whoop. 700 steps. Yeah, that sounds about right. My knees hurt from here. Can you imagine slipping or stumbling? Therapeutic masseuse. There you go. Good reason for that. All right. Any other questions? Or we're going to wrap it up for the day. We've actually gone with me blabbing on and on. I'm just really happy today. I've been working on this thing for so long, and to finally be finishing up, I am just so happy. Are good doctors and hospitals available? I assume you're talking about Armenia, and absolutely. The medical field in Colombia in general, some of the best in the world, very educated people. They don't use sticks and stones to operate. I mean, you're going to get care as good here as in most places in the U.S., better than many. Hello from Barranquilla. That's a web page, I believe. This guy. I actually have plans later next month, tentative plans of going to Barranquilla. I've never been. I've been to most places, never been there. I'm looking forward to it. Probably another 3, 4, 5 day trip. And we've got, have you visited Jardine? If you mean Jardine, yes. Gorgeous little place, very colorful. Sleepy little town for many, but it would be, I think, a pretty nice place to be. The liquor stores open in Armenia all the time during, well, no, they close, they go home, sleep. I think Sundays, I think they've reverted back to the you can't buy on Sunday. I'm not sure. I don't really do that. But I just bought that bottle, that 10-year-old or whatever it is, rum. It was half price, including 2 glasses after the holidays. and it's called this rum. Some of you will know it. It's a very famous brand here, and I just bought it, and they delivered it to the house with the groceries. So, yeah, they're open, but they're not 24 hours. And what do we got? How's the demand for English teachers in Armenia? Person with some certifications, but not a degree in teaching specifically. Well, that's, first of all, you're not going to make squat for money. If you're really lucky, you'll make under the minimum. You'll probably make about $500,000 a month, but it's kind of a part-time thing. Now, some of you have seen videos. I guess he's taking them down now, but Marshall, younger guy who went around different areas of Colombia. I used to communicate with him. He got a job sort of at a small place for English, but it's kind of like an under the table thing. Didn't make much at all, but you know, I met a lot of people and had a lot of fun as a result, because people are so social, they kind of sweep you into their net. So you could do that, but if you're looking to come here to earn a living doing that, certainly not Armenia, and pretty much not many places in Colombia. Is there a demand? Well, this is the thing. If you're looking for something to do, there's a ton of English schools now. A lot of them are these little private ones, but there's some more institutional type. But the smaller ones, you could go in and volunteer your time to do a language exchange, maybe a couple times a week for an hour. And from that, you might be able to get yourself a job, you know, teaching some English. But here, they usually require some level of certification. Ecuador, if you got a job, they didn't care too much about that. They would say it, but it didn't matter. Here, it really depends on what level. But most of the things that you see published specifically for English teacher, they're going to want to have some kind of certification. What do we got? It's very sunny. Yeah, it's awesome. Greetings from Helsinki. Did I? Okay. Clean the camera a little. The bottom. What? Oh, I already spoke to that. It's not dirt. It's a scratch, and you're just gonna have to get over it until I can do something. How big monthly pension you have to get a visa? Well, it changes every year. Right now, it's about 821,000 pesos, I believe. You can do the math, convert it to whatever dollar amount you want. You will find that on the Colombian immigration site. Also, I promote this all the time. The website, medellinguru.com. It is the only, and I could say this, the only website that I've come across that has good current information. The guy, he's dedicated to what he's doing apparently, and I'm very impressed. I've mentioned this before. A couple times I noticed something, maybe it was out of date or wasn't quite right, sent off a message, and he had it changed like within a couple of hours. He seems to be fanatical about it. So if you want some good information, things like visa, for example, go there or go to the Colombian immigration site, because there's so many variances, there's different circumstances. I do not pretend, I know exactly what it takes to get a visa for me, but I don't know what it's going to take for you. So go that route. Money isn't the issue. Retire and have something to do and help Colombians is my goal. Well, that'll be no problem. I would very strongly recommend doing exactly what I said. Find one of these small places, or even a bigger place. Go in, volunteer your time. That might even turn into something. It would be, you know, some fun money or something. But yeah, that would be very useful to people here. What I want to tell you is that there is a little dirt in the lower part of the camera. It's, again, it's not dirt. Medellin Guru is awesome. Absolutely. I am so impressed with the guy. Maybe one of these days I'll get to meet him. 800,000 is not much. Well, it depends on your position. Every country has a different economy, and they're not directly comparable, whether it's US to here or France to here or Chile to here. They all have their own economy, and you have to look within that economy to give it context. Otherwise, it kind of skews the value of it. I've talked at length about that, but that's a mistake what a lot of visitors make, because they'll come here and say, oh my God, it's so cheap. You know, everybody's so poor, and, you know, poor them, and start throwing money around and wasting money and causing problems and driving up prices for local people. But they're living in the economy. And so if they're getting paid 25% of what you got paid, you know, somewhere else, it's the equivalent here as it would be for you there. And I see many times people make assumptions. I told the story several times in depth about a situation in Ecuador about this poor taxi driver. And I knew the taxi driver. He was a friend of mine. And that taxi driver was making almost double what that condescending person who was throwing pennies at him because he was so poor. Here, go buy your family some dinner. Well, you know, don't make assumptions. What was the website for Medellin Guru? MedellinGuru.com. Come on. Come on. Tell me you can't remember that. No space, all one word. MedellinGuru.com. Funny guy. I think somebody's pulling my leg. You can Google it. He'll pop up. Thanks. Okay, what else we got here? Thank you for your videos and sharing the wonders of Colombia and Armenia. Do you have WhatsApp? Yeah. Do I want to put it out publicly? Send me an email. Not that I worry about it. Let me see if I can tilt that thing down a little. Not that I worry about it. It's just I get so many messages, emails, things like that. I need to use WhatsApp on a daily basis, and the last thing I need to do is to be typing back and forth between 4 or 5 people. So I try to keep that for things that I'm actually doing, friends that are here, or if people are here visiting, I'll put them in the WhatsApp, and then after that, I take them off. What else we got? Signal or Telegram? Dump WhatsApp. Well, you see, not to insult you, but that's kind of uneducated, because here WhatsApp is the communication platform, regardless of, you know, the concerns with it. And I get it. And I understand that. It doesn't matter. If you want to communicate with people, you have WhatsApp. That's businesses, people, every single person in this country uses WhatsApp as their main communication. Many people, it's their only communication. If you don't have it, you're not communicating. So there's that. We as expats have to be sensitive about how we speak about money. We can't be saying, oh my God, this is so cheap. Yeah, there is that, because it's, I mean, in the US, there were people that experienced it back in the, what was it, in the 80s, when you had all these Japanese tourists going to New York City, for example. And the economy of scale in Japan was higher than it was in the United States in those days. And so the equivalent of $1 in the US was maybe $2 in Japan. And there were a lot of people, I remember there were actually news stories, was a newspaper about how offensive it was when they came, because they felt like it was condescending and belittling. And it is, it really just shows a lack of understanding. You know, if somebody's here, now understand that 800,000, that's a legal minimum. That's not what people earn. Very few people you know, the poor category, like in the U.S. You know, in the U.S., you've got poverty. It's below, what, $18,000 a year, something like that. That doesn't mean the average salary in the U.S. is $18,000. Here, $800,000. That's like kids getting out of high school, part-time jobs. You know, most people are making considerably more than that, and which is another misconception. People say, well, all these poor people, it's all they make. Well, it takes a while to actually feel, to understand how the economy operates and be able to put that in perspective. Everybody comes here and they want to compare it to the US or Canada or England or whatever. And it just doesn't really work that way. It works for you, but it doesn't paint the picture of what it's like for people here. And it can be rather condescending. You know, it's like, it was a few years back, but it was somebody that I knew, and it was somebody that was here visiting, and it came up about his salary, and he was making, I don't remember, something like 4 million pesos a month, something like that. And the guy was like, really? That's not even $2,000. I'm kind of scoffing at him and bragging about, you know, how, you know, he was making $4,000, and it was pretty sad, because if you compared the economies to the economies, the Colombian was actually making more in context than the guy who was mocking him. But he completely misunderstood that. Aside from that, it's just freaking rude to do that. You know, not sure what he was trying to accomplish. I think he was trying to point out how superior, and you know, most people just don't appreciate that very much. Signal doesn't sell your data. Yeah, I get it. And, you know, I understand the reasons behind, except all you're going to do is exclude any communication in Colombia. So those things do not matter here if you want to communicate. You have to use what people are using. Greetings from Brazil. I lived in Colombia back in 2004. That's just after I left, when it was still wild. Absolutely. It was crazy in those days. You know, I actually never told the detail, but got shot at. It was, yeah, it was the Wild West, but that was before I got sick and fat and weak. You know, I used to be a tough SOB, and, you know, I could take care of myself, but you needed to be back in those days. It was the Wild West. I know Manizales and Pareto well, but have yet to go to Armenia. I'm not inviting people here. I don't want it to get crowded, but it's pretty awesome. Oh my God, saying things like that is so rude. Yeah, you know, and a lot of people just don't understand. They don't see it. He wasn't a rude person generally, but it just, you know, kind of blurt out things and doesn't understand. You need filters. Plus, you kind of look foolish if you're blurting out something that you think is right, but it's actually wrong. Like me the other day, I don't know what I was thinking. Coleman was telling me Panama is above Medellin and the isthmus there. And I said, no, it's close to that. I mean, how could... I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I was confused on something because I knew better. But fortunately, I said it one time and then I stopped because, wait a minute. You know, it's like, don't keep beating something to death. You might be wrong. My housekeeper negotiates my purchases so I don't pay gringo prices. Gringo prices in Armenia are almost non-existent. But I will say that if you're here blatantly as a tourist, then you could run into it. I mean, think about it. How many places in the United States have prices for the tourists and for the regulars? You know, it's so if you're here and you're wearing the shorts and the backpack and you're looking around like Bambi and everything's new and you seem kind of lost, then you might get a different price with some things. But for the most part, it's not something that really occurs here very much at all. They don't get many gringos. Wild West indeed, especially in Cali, where I was based. The FARC had a very strong foothold outside of the city of Armenia, and things happened in Armenia. They also ventured in Pereira, and I told this story again before, but my ex-wife, who's Colombian, she was a school teacher, and she got assigned with one of her girlfriend's school teachers for a month to go out. They took turns to go out into the country to this literal one-room schoolhouse to teach for a month out there. And they had a little cabin for them to stay in. And it was a rotating responsibility. And when they were out there, they were held at gunpoint by the FARC. There were 3 of them, held them at gunpoint for several days. They had to sit or lay in the corner of this one room. The kids were there screaming, crying. Yeah, it was ugly indeed. Kind of scarred her. Fortunately, they just left one day, and nobody really knows what that's about. Usually, they were very good at coming into areas and stealing people and then taking them out to the coca farms as slave labor. Yeah, but they're no longer anywhere near here, thanks to Uribe. And that's a political thing, but it's a historical fact. I have Colombian friends in Bogota who've gotten off WhatsApp for Signal or Telegram. Colombians are not interested in being tracked like farm animals. It will take time. See, that's the thing. And you're going to have a person, but I'll bet you those people still have WhatsApp, because how are you going to communicate? How are you going to? I want to buy this, and you know, and they're dealing with WhatsApp. How are you going to communicate with them? So a lot of times you get the WhatsApp number, but you don't get an actual phone number. Now you can look, there's a phone number, but many people have a separate number for the telephone as for WhatsApp, a privacy thing. So, you know, so I get that, but what I'm telling you is I get the reasoning. I understand. I'm not disagreeing, but as a factual issue, if you don't have WhatsApp, especially as a visitor, you got problems. Thanks for all the info. Have a good Sunday. Ciao. Thank you. See you later. Nice hat. Possibly once I was gringo priced in Medellin. Well, Medellin happens. Everything is gringo priced, including for Colombians, in like Poblado or Loales. I'm from Armenia, but I didn't. The nickname, Kuya Bros, do you know why? No? I'm lost. Let me read something here. Medellin Guru just posted something at the mall in Sabaneta today. I don't know. I just got a news flash across my screen. Okay, so I think I got all kinds of things going off here. So I think we're going to end it for today. We went almost an hour, and so much for keeping it for a half an hour. But as long as we're having some conversation, you know, I don't mind keeping it going a little bit. But we're going to wrap it up. I got lots of things to do, and so I will see you next Sunday.